Violence, violence, violence. I don't like it.
The biggest Kannada movie of the year and perhaps one of the biggest Indian movies of the year, KGF Chapter 2's trailer dropped recently. And since then, it has been the talk of the town all across the country. Let us then in this video discuss the trailer and the various aspects of it. The setting of the movie. Now, if you remember, KGF Chapter 1, especially in the Hindi belt, was not an instant success. The success or the very core value of the popularity of that film depended on the word of mouth, wherein people talked about the movie, different aspects of it, something that they were curious about. And one such thing that they were curious about was the setting of the movie. Now, this setting was not only with regards to the physical setting of the characters, but also with regards to the historical setting. And that is what KGF Chapter 2's trailer seems to promise more. Herein, they've taken it and made it larger, grander, and even more bigger, with violence being the key word. And here's the important thing. During the trailer launch, the director of the movie, Prashant Neel, stressed on the factor that he is not interested in giving any social message through the film, but he's only making it for the sole purpose of entertainment. The color palette of the movie and the sets. Now, this one value of this movie set it apart from the rest of the films when it released in the year 2018. You know, it had this very Mad Max-like treatment of the crime thriller, something that is very new for mainstream Indian cinema. Of course, we had the likes of Saho releasing around the same time starring Prabhas, but content-wise KGF was much more superior than Saho. Now, what this does is that it probably paves a new way for the Indian cinema, especially as far as action in the mainstream is concerned, from the time of it being caricaturish to actually matching the international standards. KGF might actually break that threshold for the Indian movies. The added cast. Now, KGF Chapter 2 has many known, or rather many pan-India faces in the likes of Sanjay Dutt, Raveena Tandon, and also Prakash Raj, who, although he's from Bangalore, but he's well known all across the country. Now, this does give a rise to a little bit of apprehension, because if you see a trend in the South Indian movies, we've seen that many North Indian or many Hindi speaking actors have been made the part of those movies, and their voice has been dubbed in that regional language. The reason behind this probably would be the greater reach for that movie, but KGF is a movie which does not need that, because it has already reached a height where people would anyways throng to the theatres, even if it would release without a Raveena Tandon or a Sanjay Dutt. But what is important here to understand is that the amount of value they bring to this movie. Of course, Raveena Tandon is playing a character which is loosely based on Indira Gandhi, perhaps, and Sanjay Dutt is the antagonist of the movie. Now, if they are actually able to bring in some great value to the movie, that will only add greater value to this entire universe, which is owned by the rocking star Yash.
Offer closes soon.
The rocking star Yash. Now, Yash enters the trailer of this movie after around 1.2 minutes, which is a long time, for the entry of the protagonist. Before him, some 20 odd characters have been introduced. But this actually works well in his favor, because बच्चा जानता है कि हर कोई यश के लिए ये ट्रेलर देख रहा है, and that anticipation, that hype just crosses the limit by the time he comes. And God, doesn't it deliver when he enters, with those lines, with those dialogues, and of course the action image of his. Now, one important and very interesting thing to recognize or realize here is the fact that even in the Chapter 1, Yash looked very familiar and very comfortable playing the character of Rocky. But in Chapter 2, he looks even more comfortable. And that is because there are added elements of, a little bit more humor maybe from what we perceive from the trailer, and the inherent style which he has. Hopefully it works out for the better of the movie. During the trailer launch event of KGF Chapter 2, there was a question asked to Yash about the battle or the clash between the two big movies releasing around the same time. One starring Talapati Vijay, of course the Beast, and second KGF Chapter 2. And in answer to that, Yash very intelligently pointed out how we need to change the narratives which we are creating at the moment in this country. He urged not only that journalists but also to everyone around us to not look at these movies as KGF Chapter 2 versus The Beast, but KGF Chapter 2 and The Beast. Now, here the difference is not of one small syllable, but of the inclusive value that the Indian cinema is developing in the last few years. Kudos to Yash to actually voice this opinion out and make the country aware of the fact. KGF Chapter 2 will be releasing on 14th of April 2022. And last few weeks have been pure gold dust for Indian cinema, with the likes of Kashmir Files, minting so much of money, and recently RRR trending all around the world. Will KGF Chapter 2 be able to take this trend ahead financially and critically? Will be something we need to wait and watch out for. Thank you.